So next year's going to be a massive year for rugby, and here's 5 reasons to get excited for the Six Nations 2023. And I thought you were going to score.
Ask a better question, you get a better answer.
Hi guys, welcome back. So when we get closer to the Six Nations, I'll do a full preview video like normal, but there's certain reasons why I'm excited already for the 2023 Six Nations, and I'm going to go through them, and I'd love you guys to put down the reasons why you might be excited or not for the tournament next year. Now, there's no doubt that the Six Nations next year is going to have all the normal twists and turns of a Six Nations, the bragging rights of the individual games, the title, a possible Grand Slam. That's all great. I absolutely love it. But there's no doubt that there's the looming shadow of the 2023 World Cup as well, and that's going to put some extra pressure on teams because this is their last big tournament preparation before the World Cup as it creeps closer, and that really puts pressure on coaches to get things right, for players to force selection. It just makes things that bit more exciting. And come the Six Nations, coaches will want to be out of that experimental phase ideally, really going through the basics they're going to be using in the World Cup with the core of the team they're going to be using in the World Cup. Sure, there's always room for new players and they're going to be keeping some things back, but certainly they're going to want to get their basics absolutely nailed. And if they have a disastrous Six Nations, they'll want to try and cover it up and say there's time to get things right. But really, this is the time to start clicking. So that feeds into the first reason why I'm going to be excited for the Six Nations, because there's going to be new coaches for England and Wales immediately under pressure in round 1. England taking on Scotland at home, and Scotland have been their bogey team. And then Wales taking on Ireland, the number ones. Again, Wales are at home, but again, a really hard team. So straight away, it's going to set the tone for these new coaches. Really high jeopardy for sure. And they could have a poor Six Nations because new systems, new coaches, they're trying to get things in place quickly. Can they hit the ground running? Can they build some momentum? If it does turn out to be a bit of a disaster, they're going to have to turn it around pretty quickly because then they'll only have their World Cup warm-up game. So it's going to be fascinating to watch these new coaches, how they do and how quickly their systems bed in. Now, point 2 is Italy. Can they carry on with their excellent 2022 when they picked up big wins against Wales and, of course, against Australia? Can they have a really good Six Nations? Now, there's always a possibility they could finish the Six Nations on 0 wins and the questions would start again. But it's the best I've ever seen them play in 2022. Can they back it up? Well, you look at their home games. They start with France. That looks a little bit too tough. And they've got Ireland. Are they going to be targeting Wales at home as a win for them? It's going to be tough, but I think they're on a bit of a roll here. It's the best I've seen them play, but of course they're up against the big boys. How it's going to go, I'm just really excited to see. Now, reason to get excited number 3 is looking to round 2. We've got maybe a prelude to a big World Cup clash. We've got Ireland versus France, a massive, massive game. Ireland at home with a slight advantage. Number 1 and number 2 in the world taking each other on. With the World Cup coming up, if you look at the draw, they're on the same side of the draw in different pools, but they could well face each other either in a quarter-final or even a semi-final, so there's that there as well. And of course, this game could be the decider for the Six Nations. They're going to want to do well in the Six Nations if they're going to have designs on the World Cup, ideally win the Six Nations, especially France, because they're at home. So that's a massive mouth-watering game in round 2. Looking forward to that for sure. Now, I mentioned for France, it's a home World Cup. They've been building their side for a long time now under Gautier. They are ready to rock and roll, so this is the big pressure year for them. This Six Nations again is another marker to see if they're absolutely ready. For Ireland, they've got a great team, they're playing well, but they've had good teams in the past under Joe Smith. They looked like they were building well and they flopped in the World Cup in that quarter-final big defeat. They've had good teams in the past as well with, say, Brian O'Driscoll, his era, and flopped as well in the World Cup. So for them as well, it's a lot of pressure on this year. So who's going to rise to the occasion this year? Ireland or France, or neither? But certainly that clash in round 2 will set the tone. Now, reason number 4 is Scotland. Can Scotland shake that nearly tag? The team that nearly gets there, they can play great rugby with big wins, but in tournaments, in series, they can't get over the line. Now, I hope Gregor Townsend starts with Finn Russell and they go for it from the beginning. They'll want to turn over England again at Twickenham. That would be a massive start for them. And can they possibly get over the line and win a Six Nations? That would be huge for them. They need to show that they can string these games together and get a result in a tournament, and the Six Nations is the perfect way to do that as they go into the World Cup. And if you look at the fixtures, it's not too bad, to be honest. England at home first with a new coach could catch them cold for sure. Plus they've got a good record against England, and then 3 home games as well. So yeah, it's as good as it's going to be. Can they win the Six Nations? Can they be the team that makes it, not the nearly team? And the last point is something I always enjoy about World Cup years. That's the World Cup bolter and who might emerge in the Six Nations to be a bolter. The majority of the squad will be fairly settled in coaches' minds, but there's always space for one or two or more bolters. And with England and Wales having new coaches, there may be more new players, more bolters as well, so that's exciting. For Wales, maybe they'll go with Sam Costello as a new 10 and attacking fly half, Joe Hawkins as a playmaking and big running inside centre, Christ Windsor maybe getting into the squad as that versatile back row, second row that coaches really love in World Cup squads of limited space. For England, will we see them going with new attacking abilities like Ben Earl in the back row, or trusting the pace of an Adam Radwan? So I love looking at the bolters. Who do you think might emerge as a bolter for your nation? So those are the 5 areas I'm really excited to see. Let me know what your areas are, which players you want to watch, what you're looking out for in your team. Hopefully I'll get a media pass for one of the games and do some live reporting from the games. Probably it's going to be England-Italy. That would be great. So pop all those comments below and I'll catch you next time.